my experience is the lessons are in the mistakes, right? That it's not when
Yep.
you win. When you win, that's easy,
Right.
and the listeners can learn most from us openly sharing about, man, here's where I kind of screwed up. What what mistakes? So if somebody's looking to get into real estate and buy their first, uh, you know, revenue generating property, an income rental property, what mistakes did you make that cost you 30 grand? Like what would you do differently?
Yeah, definitely. So the very first house, I got this call about 4 months in or so of owning the property. And the tenant was telling me that there's sewage that's spewing out of the kitchen sink and it's all over the kitchen floor and also backing out into the showers as well and all over the bathroom floor too. So I had to get somebody to get out there to sanitize everything. And then I had a plumber stick a camera down the pipe, of course, and it turns out there are roots from the trees, the surrounding trees,
Oh yeah.
digging into my pipes, into my, I guess it was a cast iron pipe. And so I learned that if it's older than the 1980s, usually it's cast iron pipes and the roots can dig into those pipes. So, um, the basically replacing, I had to replace the line. It cost me about $9,000. And so what I learned is I always need to get a sewage lateral line inspection on a house during the home inspection phase. It doesn't come as part of the normal home inspection. You usually have to add it on. And what I found is about 50% of the properties I bought had some sort of roots sticking into the pipe or some other issue with the pipe itself. Just because, if you're buying houses that's older than the 1980s, you have run into those issues. So a lot of times what I do is I have the seller make those repairs before I buy the property, or they credit me money. I get a quote for how much it costs to replace the line, and then basically send that to the seller, and then they'll pay me basically to replace the line afterwards. So that's one mistake. The other thing was I didn't check that there was basically no AC at the house because it was a 100-year-old house.
Yeah.
And so during the 100-degree, over 100-degree weather we have in California, the students were calling me during the summer saying it's blazing hot in here and you got to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to get like a heat stroke. So I had to put in a new AC system, a mini split system,
Yeah.
which cost me about $15,000. Now, I learned a little bit later that you can also potentially do window units.
Hmm.
That could be a good method. This particular house, I was, it was probably a good idea just to do the mini splits. But that cost me 15,000 plus the 9,000 in sewage. And then there was also like a rotting deck. There were just a lot of things I didn't think about, or I just walked through the property and saw the potential, but I didn't see all the issues with the property. And I didn't really pay attention very closely to the home inspection report because it was just like, I think it was like 70 pages. And I was like,
Sure.
what do I do with all these,
Sure. Sure.
pages?
Sure.
So anyways, I mean, there were little hints in there, but yeah, I didn't look into it. So I made that mistake, starting out. I didn't do my due diligence enough.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for sharing that. That ended up saving somebody a ton of money if they listen to your advice there. What what do you look for? I guess two questions. First, are you acquiring all of your properties in a given geography, kind of a geo-targeted area, or will you just go wherever it makes the most sense and there's collegiate housing?
Yeah, so I actually have 14 student rentals right now with 90 tenants, and I'm in about four different college markets.
Okay.
So what I do is I start off with the top college report. I just look up like US News top colleges in the state that I'm investing in or interested in investing in. And basically, I filter by at least 3,000 or more students. And I want the tuition to be like 15,000 or more. That way, I'm really looking for schools where the people have the ability to pay and there's enough market size as well. So I start there and I try to be within a 5-minute drive or within walking distance of the campus if possible. I do provide like electric scooters and things like that to help some of the students as a perk. But yeah, I try to be as close as possible. And I also look for houses that are larger in size so I can add those 4, 5, or 6 bedrooms to the house. Because if I can get it to a 6 bedroom house, rent out each bedroom for 700 a month, then that means it's a $4,200 per month rental income, which is a really good sweet spot for single family housing.